It's gonna be hot everywhere. Go ahead and we just need to sear it off for now.
So cooking that Duncan, now that's quite a hot surface. How are you preventing it from getting burnt on the outside and cooked thoroughly, being chicken on the inside?
Yeah, well, we're just going to sear it and then we're going to move it around. And hopefully gradually it will just start to cook through.
So that, oh, hold on.
Oh, Dallas gets smoked out. Yeah, well,
All the smoke just sort of like came straight through me, and I was like trying to see, and I couldn't really see when I was cutting them. So it was a bit off-putting for a few minutes.
yeah, well, it's because he's a smoker anyway, you know. He smokes anyway. Cigarettes.
Ramy, how long do you want these French sticks cut? To what length?
Cut it at an angle.
Yep.
And then just do about pieces about that thick.
I wasn't too sure how we're going to cut the French stick. Ramy suggested we cut it on the angle, to give it more of that sort of deli look.
Now, I haven't seen much happening with Ye Humble Bottle of Tomato Sauce over there. What is the plan for that?
I forgot completely about the tomato sauce. I think Liv was saying something about you got to use the tomato sauce, and I was like, oh no, yeah, we've got to use the tomato sauce.
The tomato sauce was definitely tough, and sure enough, it was pointed out halfway through the event that we hadn't touched the tomato sauce yet. We're deciding how that's going to fit into. We've got a hot and sour sauce that's going to be going on the chicken dish, and the tomato sauce, I think, might marry well with that sauce. So I think that's where it's going to go.
My name's Duncan McNichol. I'm 32 years old. I was born in Roxburgh. I've been a chef now for 6 months. Prior to that, I was a farmer, and I studied philosophy at Cambridge University. I'm a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to barbecue. Just lamb chop, some sausages, I think maybe pale patties, yeah, some mussels. Yeah, pretty traditionalist.
What is it you got there chopping up, Dallas?
These are prawns. I just took the tails off them before and deveined them. Now we're adding prawns and some corn, some sweet corn. And I'm probably going to mix that round with a little bit of our hot and sour sauce.
So what does prawn do for a sauce?
It is going to make it a bit sweeter. Prawns are quite sweet anyway, but with all our other flavours that's going on, it should all combine to be very good. And then they're going to go inside our raviolis, which I'm going to make very shortly. With the tomato sauce, well, I didn't actually see it till the last second, till I was like doing the raviolis, and then we had to use it in something. So I used it with the prawn and corn raviolis. So I'm going to use some of this tomato sauce in with our prawns and sweet corn, along with our hot and sour caramel jus, which will be going with the chicken dish. I think it worked very well, yes. All the flavours are there and it tasted beautiful as far as I'm concerned.
You know, if we were going to do that dish on our menu, I might even consider putting the tomato sauce in there.
It's a novel way of toasting bread. How are you doing that?
Oh, the hot plate's really hot now. It's like, down now it's really hot. So I'm worried that I'm going to like over toast my bread.
We put it on the hot plate because the hot plate was quite hot, and it's trying to charred it a little bit.
I think a big part of the problem was because it was so windy, we turned the grills were turned up basically at full throttle, and you couldn't even really feel any heat coming up from it. So the heat would just dissipate almost immediately, but the actual element itself was really hot. So if you actually put a meat or a pancake or anything on that, it would almost immediately burn.
Some of those are getting a bit toasty there, Duncan.
Yeah, they are. It's a little bit concerning that they have got a little bit charred.
You want to get that asparagus?
Yep, I'm going to get right onto that right now.
I don't think there's really an element where we try to place blame and say you know, whose fault is this and what happened. And this kind of stuff happens in a kitchen and in a fast-paced kitchen like we work in all the time, where something doesn't turn out quite well or quite exactly how we planned it. And the most important thing is not to figure out, you know, why it went wrong. It's to figure out what do we do next. The plan for presentation, well, because this is kind of a nice old Italian dish, we're going to go with a little bit more of a rustic presentation. Everything we're going to have 3 different styles of this bruschetta, so we'll probably have 3 sets of 2 going through here. And yeah, nothing too fancy with this one, just because, like I said, it's such a traditional kind of dish. We don't want to do too much with it.
I don't think we had any trouble with the entree. I thought the entree was probably went the smoothest out of all of them. Yeah, no, I think the entree was, yeah, for me anyway, unless I missed out on something.
There we go. I think this is our first dish. So I like the fact that we were able to make kind of a complex dish that exemplified the simplicity of the making of it. And I think that doing it on a barbecue really, really showed how easy it would be to do. Oh, beautiful. You want me to chop that up?
I'll do it right now. Also with our chicken dish, we're going to be adding some peppered pancetta. Because I think with all the flavours it goes really well.
What's pancetta consist of?
Well, it's pork that's been cured for many years. I can't remember how many years that it is, but it's cured down and then pressed, so it all comes out nice. And I think it's generally made from like pork belly, but I'm not sure to be sure. So I'm just going to cut this into wee cubes and then cook that up on the barbecue just before we're ready to serve it. I think it worked really well with all the other combinations of that dish, but just barbecued it up so it was like nice and crispy, and then like put it in individual things, so when you ate a little bit of each thing, then you'd be able to taste it all at once.
If you've got a good hot grill, then it shouldn't stick. Maybe if the heat's a little bit too low, then that might be where you run into some problems. I don't know, this one looks like
I'm doing mine in the pan. See how they, what sort of quality difference we get out of it.
But yeah, you want to give it a chance to cook through a little bit before you flip it.
No, I wasn't too sure how we were going to cook the pancakes. I'll be honest, I tried mine in the pan.
Now, Ramy, are you worried about that one tasting like bacon at all, seeing as though you were cooking chicken on there?
Well, if you'd noticed, I'd see, now that got a little too much color. I gave it a good scrape beforehand. A lot of times, well, if we had a little bit more water, I probably would have watered it down a little bit, but if it's got a little bit of bacon flavor, I don't think that ever hurt anything.
The cameras can't taste it.
Absolutely. Again, that's an example of where you really need to show your versatility and your ability to deal with shortcomings.
But no, I was just really wanting to get it all together as fast as we could, you know, just kind of get it together and, you know, have it finished.
Where we're having trouble right now is trying to find a good spot on the grill. There's a lot of hot spots, a lot of cold spots. We're trying to find the one with just the right temperature to make the perfect pancake. We'll see if we can pull it off. Let's try it over here. Basically, it was just a lot of frustration. I mean, dealing with that element.
Trouble with a hot plate is it's either stone cold or red hot.
It was hit or miss. I mean, there were some spots on there that were just, you know, ice cold. There were some spots on there that were so hot.